Hey everyone, the Enneamentalist here, and today we're gonna talk about Enneagram 1. A disclaimer before starting: the Enneagram is for anyone who wants to go deeper, not just into what they do, but why they do it. The Enneagram is all about motivations. It offers a spiritual lens, a psychological toolkit, and a path to transformation. It's a map of consciousness tracing the divine movement of the universe. A quick note: I am an advanced Tritype certified master Enneagram teacher with Katherine Fauvre Consulting. I offer Enneagram typing and coaching services. I will leave a link in my video description where you can check for more information. And having said that, you will find in the description of this video a link to the mini Tritype videos involving the type mentioned today, but you can check out later. They are gold. A friendly reminder that instincts warrants the triple focus. Check Tritype by Katherine Fauvre for more information to get such needs met. Those are the biological imperatives. Only then processing style kicks in, helping the implementation of defensive strategy. Those that come from a line of study that is the judge's line make often the mistake of typing people by looking at integration on one direction and disintegration in the other. That doesn't work. What happened was that Bob Ox was a one, obsessed with the idea of sin and redemption that misquoted Naranjo. Both lines are engaged positively in integration and negatively in disintegration. Why? Because Enneagram is a trialectical system. So remember to consider both lines positively in integration and both lines negatively in disintegration. For any Enneagram type, both wings are omnipresent. Enneagram types are born from the tension between the adjacent wings. One tends to be more externalized, the other more internalized. And now to type 1.
Type 1 belongs to the gut center alongside 8 and 9. These types deal primarily with anger, with key traits of self-forgetting, aggressiveness, instinctual, and moving. Type 1 is born from the tension between 9 and 2, which are the possible wings of this type. The idealized self-image of type 1 is about being good, in control, hardworking, right, conscientious, diligent, appropriate. To encounter the fear one, which is about fearing being wrong, inappropriate, angry, evil, unacceptable, corruptible, irresponsible.
Type 1s primarily use reaction formation to maintain a self-image of being ethical, responsible, and morally upright. When faced with inner conflict or unwanted impulses, they act in ways that oppose those feelings to suppress them. This defense helps them uphold their high standards but can lead to frustration when things don't meet their idealized expectations.
The main focus on 1 is about what's right. As such, the speech style of a 1 is characterized by the tendency to teach, to moralize, and promoting a constant improvement mindset. Notice that when a 1 criticizes you, they don't usually do so to be a jerk. They do so because they wish for you to be above reproach and criticism. It comes from a place of love, actually. This is also why ones will typically take the time to send you an email, etc., if they notice that you did a typo, etc., in your website, so that you might avoid being criticized for that typo, etc. In other words, improving and correcting is a key trait of this type. As far as body language goes, typically ones tend to have rigidity and an upright posture, tend to dress with an appropriate attire, they tend to have a thick jaw, often pointing the index finger, especially when they are moralizing, teaching something. They tend to have an eagle-like quality to their eyes. And the signature trait of type 1, although any type can do this, but 1 especially will do, is an arched brow whilst pursuing the mouth as a sign of disapproval. The best way to deal with a type 1 is to thank them for what they do, asking for their advices, and to help them have some fun. Whilst you should avoid say to them that they are irresponsible, you should avoid making them do all the work, as well you should avoid questioning their integrity. As a fun note, as found out by Katherine Fauvre's research, interviewing countless ones, they have reported that usually they will fire their parents when they are kids. So yeah, it's a highly responsible type. There are 3 different instinctual subtypes of type 1. The self-preservation one can resemble 6s when they are worried and anxious, and at times can resemble 4s when depressed and or feeling misunderstood for their passionate ideal. As positive traits, the one self-preservation tends to be good at planning everything out, tend to be responsible and security conscious, tends to be great at saving and investing money, tends to be health conscious, eating well, exercising regularly, etc. Tends to be interested in physical and material well-being, tends to have an orderly, organized, neat and clean attitude, as well as tend to be disciplined and regimented. On the negative side, one self-preservation might display anxiety, worry, physical tension, might choose a safe career rather than risk doing what they love. They might be self-inhibited, repressing their own wants, needs, and then resent other people for that. They might be workaholics. They can procrastinate at times. They might fear making mistakes, fearing catastrophes, but 1 don't tend to use the word catastrophe. The 6 does. So you might run occasionally in 6 describing the experience of 1 using the word catastrophe. Returning to one's self-preservation, they might have too high expectation of themselves and others. They can be fastidious, picky and finicky. They might be overprotective. They might display inner tension between doing what they want versus doing what they feel they should do. And notice, ones in general tend to overuse should. It's part of their speech style about the moralizing, improving and teaching. Also, one self-preservation can be hypochondriacs. Now to the type 1 sexual. They can resemble 4s at times with their longing for perfect. Also, they can resemble at times 8 with their capacity to express their anger easily. On the positive side, one sexual tend to be faithful and loyal, supporting and forgiving, can show healthy anger. They are the most unconventional of type 1. They have a strong emphasis on fidelity. They tend to be patient and forbearing, passionate. They tend to have healthy reformer qualities. They can be powerful and self-assertive, like 8s. On the negative side, They might have unrealistically high expectation, easily disappointed when others don't match up to those. They can be too intense for others. They might have the desire to find the perfect ideal partner like fours, which can create them problem to actually bond with potential candidates due to extreme expectations. They can be insecure, possessive, and jealous due to a strong fear of abandonment. They might critically and obsessively compare themselves to others. They might often feel lonely even with others, like fours. They might obsessively think about their partner. They might question, challenge, or check up on their partner when gone too long, similar to 6 and 8s, as well as they might judge their strong sexual urges, needs, desires as being bad. And social, on the positive side, they tend to have the desire to uphold and enforce rules for the good of all. They have a strong sense of social responsibility. They can be reformers, advocates, and crusaders. They are often drawn to politics and or journalism. They like to expose wrongdoing. They are willing to speak up and speak out. And they can be very sacrificial for a greater good mission cause. On the negative side, they might be so focused on mission, purpose, and goals that they can relate to others. They can be rigid in their viewpoint. They might be not very adaptable, seeing things as black and white. They might be opinionated, believing that they are the voice of the truth. They might hold people to exacting standards. They can be self-righteous, and they tend to take criticism very personally. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it informative, and if you haven't already, make sure to smash the subscribe button and to turn notification bell on to never miss any future educational video about the topic of reading people, and support me on Patreon. I will do my best.